Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the hearing before Judge Dale Ho that will take place shortly, in which the judge will determine whether the government's motion to dismiss the charges against Mayor Eric Adams of New York is in the interest of justice. Okay, so there's a lot of speculation, including based on an order that Ho himself issued, that and articles in different newspapers that say it's really up to the judge. And Rule 48 does say, this is the rule under which the government is now moving, that the judge has to find that is in the interest of justice. But if you stop and think about it for a minute, and Judge Ho will know this, there's really not a lot of room to deny the motion to dismiss. Let's say you deny it. What happens then? You can't order the federal prosecutors to pursue a case that they've been told they can't pursue. There's no way to really go forward. What there would be, and there's been times in the law where it's happened, is an effort to appoint a different prosecutor, not within the federal government system, or a special prosecutor to take it over. But it is hard to imagine that, as the law currently is, and with the high profile of this case in particular, that Ho will be able to do that or would even choose to do it. So at the end of the day, it seems likely Ho needs to acquiesce in the government's motion. Now, there's two aspects to the motion. They want to dismiss it, but they want to dismiss it without prejudice so they can refile it. That's a whole political issue, because what it says is there's this apparent deal, quid pro quo, even though department leadership and Eric Adams both deny it, that goes, we'll dismiss the charges if you play ball with us on immigration. And it sure seemed, we saw him on TV in Fox and Friends with an immigration czar for the administration saying basically just that he's going to be playing ball. That's put him now in huge hot water in New York, because he's basically saying the master here for immigration will be the White House and not the people of New York. And there's a whole separate effort to basically remove him that has his survival at in great peril. But anyway, you can imagine Ho saying, I'm going to dismiss this, but with prejudice. That's possible, but it's even that is unlikely. And the simple finding that I'm not going to dismiss it, I find it's not in the interest of justice, hard to see. However, what's not hard to see, what's easy to see, and what's likely is that Ho will really scrutinize what the hell happened here and put the department through the paces of explaining why they filed it and why it's in the interests of justice. And that is one tawdry tale, as we learned last week. Basically, it's got nothing to do. This is the screaming headline, and will be till the end of time where the Department of Justice is concerned. It was ordered to the acting U.S. attorney to dismiss it, even though the powers that be, the acting deputy attorney general, said there's not a legal, or there's no problem with the law or the facts. That is just, as I've said, again and again, and written the Substacks on, that is just crazy, anathema, offensive. This is what the Department of Justice cannot do, and yet he ordered her to do it, and that's why she resigned. No problem with the facts and the law. Case is okay, but dismiss it. Why? let's say it's this rank quid pro quo. That would stink. It wouldn't seem in the interest of justice. Let's just say, because Trump wants to, because he feels for Adams, who he thinks has also been the subject of a weaponized prosecution. That's not the interest of justice. And indeed, weaponized prosecution here has to mean that the facts and the law don't hold up. That's what it means to be doing it for political reasons, right? But the prosecutors insist that they do hold up. So we're going to have a quite potentially embarrassing, even sort of circus atmosphere for the administration, where the judge maybe takes evidence, puts the prosecutor who was forced to sign the motion to dismiss under oath and said, why did you do it? I think that person who's at the end of his career and was taking a bullet for the team will say, Deputy Attorney General stuck us in a room and said if we didn't, then we had to find somebody in fast. Do you think that it's in the interest of justice? Well, no, I don't. I mean, I think you'll have people telling the truth, and then to what extent will the judge, be able to expose and shine a spotlight on the particular role of the acting deputy attorney general who did, something that, I can certainly say and have said that, that no deputy attorney general ever has done or should do, basically put them in a hammerlock and said, you have to move to dismiss this righteous case, this case where the facts and law are fine. Part of the whole dispute is the extent to which there has been a quid pro quo. So that will be the resigning acting U.S. attorney said it was outright discussed, and the deputy attorney general and Eric Adams' attorney says it wasn't. There were notes taken at a meeting that the acting deputy attorney general ordered should then be destroyed. It's the whole operation, as we've talked about, is totally scandalous and smells to high heaven on the part of the administration. And, this is a rare instance. We saw this in Trump 1.0, that they lie all the time or prevaricate or bob and weave. And it's a rare instance in which somebody is put on the stand and has to raise their right hand and give testimony. And that might be the resigning prosecutors like Danielle Sassoon. It might be the person who signed and explaining, what happened and all the pressure they were under. It might be the deputy attorney general. In any event, all of those are within the bounds of the conceivable. But what is certain is that the judge has the power to and will use the power to really push on what happened here. There could well be disputes about whether he can call someone to give evidence. I want to hear from Mr. Bove, and maybe they try to resist. So it could get sticky and stickier, but we're going to have this hearing where I think the impropriety of the administration and the acting deputy attorney general will be laid bare. That's an achievement or an important point in and of itself. At the conclusion, I find it unlikely, others disagree, but I find it unlikely that the judge won't grant the dismissal. Potentially could grant it with prejudice, although in this case, they've just filed the piece of paper from the mayor himself who says, I consent to the without prejudice aspect of the dismissal. So that would be also fairly aggressive on the judge's part. Anyway, what's going to be most interesting is the investigation and the scrutinizing. And remember, the DOJ won't want to scrutinize it. The Eric Adams won't want to scrutinize it, so it'll be the judge doing the questioning, or maybe we'll find out shortly, appointing someone to do the questioning. But that's going to be the headline, is finding out what happened, as opposed to, I think, any likelihood that the motion to dismiss is denied. On the other hand, What awaits Adams after the case is dismissed is a political crisis of the highest order, where the government of New York and the governor of New York looks like they may be trying to oust him, and his days may be numbered anyway. And of course, once they are, and he's no longer useful to the administration, what will happen? Will they go back and refile the charges? He is in the tightest of tight spots, and his political future, to my mind, not my area of expertise, but to my mind, is short-lived. But the immediate point is to really have the focus on what the acting deputy attorney general did, maybe even the attorney general, what happened, that this was really outrageously rammed down the throats of career prosecutors by an overbearing acting deputy attorney general who was just looking to execute Trump's political will and caprice, and certainly not do justice without fear or favor. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.